Shamanettes, and welcome to the Beauty Shaman. So this is what we're doing today. So this is a red holiday look. I did a smoky eye with a neutral lip holiday look, and I'll put that here in the corner, but this is actually a red lip. So I love red lips for holiday. I'm sure many of you do. It's wonderful. As we get older, it can be a little bit tricky to add because we can look garish very quickly, or it just doesn't look balanced, right? It's kind of like you're a walking red lip rather than it being a total look of being very current and fabulous, right? And that's what we want. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to do, a little bit of false lashes, a little bit of gold, which I love, and really make this look kind of work. That's the whole idea with red lips, is it has to work on your skin color, on your face shape, the whole thing. So we're going to cover all of that in this video. Okay, so before we get started, please visit the beautyshamanstore.com. I have to enunciate because those all tend to run together for me. Beautyshamanstore.com and sign up for my newsletter while you're there, and also hit the subscribe button here on YouTube. I know everybody says that, but it's super important so that we creators can keep creating. All right, let's get started. Okay, so here we are, no makeup. We're going to start out with a little bit of vitamin C serum because really this is one of the things that you should use every single day is vitamin C. This is EYEBROW. This has about 20% vitamin C. It's a great mid-range. I think in the mid-range products, this is probably one of the absolute best. I love Image and I love EYEBROW. It's not a high-range one, which tend to be around $200 or $300. This one I think goes for like $75, I want to say. All right, and of course I need a little bit of moisturizer, so I'm going to use the EYEBROW. I'm doing EYEBROW today, EYEBROW Moisturizing Daily Defense. So this is SPF 50. So I realize most of you are in the fall and winter, but the sun is still very strong during those time periods, so it's still important if you're going to be out in the sun to go ahead and put a little bit of moisturizer on with SPF or an SPF separate from your moisturizer. I do both, to be honest, but this is great. It's a really great moisturizer. And SPF 50, which is awesome. All right, so I'm going to do a little primer just so my makeup stays on. Makeup does not stay on me. I pretty much always use primer. So this is Smooth Affair by Jane Iredale. This is a brightening, which I really like. I like, for older women, I like the skin to look sort of sheer and bright. I don't want to matte. Like matte's really in right now. And for older women, I'm not a huge fan unless you have oily skin. And I think one of you that follows me, Juju, has oily skin and is often complaining that I don't speak to the oily skin people. So I just spoke to oily skin people. Then a matte would be really nice because you wouldn't want to put a primer or a moisturizer on that would make your skin look more dewy like this has all done for me. If you have oily skin, you'd want to go for things that are more matte for sure. Okay, so I'm going to do foundation and then I'm going to go ahead and do eyes. I am not going to do concealer right away because I'm going to have some fall from the eyeshadow around my eyes. I'm not using expensive eyeshadow. It tends to fall a bit more. So this is Vapor. I love Vapor. This is a great non-toxic foundation called Soft Focus. It's my go-to. Love this brand. Okay, I'm going to use a little eye base. So I use the MAC Painterly eye base, but if you have an eye base you love, obviously use that. And if you have something you really love, tell me about it. I mean, I'm always keen to go shopping and, go get some other products. So, please tell me if there's a product that you're really keen on. Whoops, my door just slammed. Work. Okay, just a word on eye base. I use it because I have a lot of hyperpigmentation over my eyelids, and this just sort of corrects it really well. If you have oily lids, I think an eye base is a must-have. If you have dry lids, you can just forget about it. It's no big deal. You can put concealer on your lids if you want, or whatever you want. All right, I'm going to fill in my eyebrows because it makes such a difference when you're dealing with red lipstick, because red is such a strong color. Even though we're going to use more of a sheer red, I think it's important to be sure your face has balance. Now, many of you cannot wear red lipstick because your face is out of balance. In other words, maybe your eyebrows are too thick or they're not thick enough, and so it doesn't balance out on your face. So I would say be sure that, this is NYX, by the way. I use this all the time. It's a brow gel. It's lovely. or it's not really a gel. I don't know. I never know what to call it. It's not a pencil. Anyway, so I'm just going to shape mine a little bit to lengthen them, make them a little bit stronger in order to have that red lipstick really look nice. If you want to know more about eyebrows, how to do your eyebrows, I'll put a video here in the corner. One of the great benefits here is after you do your makeup, if it doesn't look in balance, you can actually thicken up your brows a bit or take them down a notch, and that can kind of help. So just so you know, you're not totally just looking at the lips, you're looking at kind of the whole canvas here of, you know, does it work? Okay, so that's what we're looking at as we go along. So, all right, next we're gonna do a little bit of contour. All right, I'm using Merit Beauty. So this is a lovely contour. It's a cream contour, which I'm a huge fan of now. Really, I love Merit Beauty. So I'm going to use this just to give my face a little bit more shape because it's very like, you know, very, right, when you put foundation on. So we're going to do that. And then later, if I need a little bit more warmth, I'm going to add some Vapor Bronzer on top of it because sometimes we want a little bit more warmth, especially when we're dealing with reds. I love this brush. This is brush number 1 by Merit. This is a great contour, great brush. I love this brush. All right, let's move into eyes. So I'm going to do an eyeshadow that is basically more kind of glittery, a little bit just very sheer. Now I have a lot of real estate here. If you don't have as much real estate, then the less you do on your eyelids. So I think it can be very easy to look overdone if you have a smaller lid and a smaller area because, you know, putting a lot there, you just sort of look like, you know, should be out on the street somewhere. So we don't want that, right? Crazy's not in. So I'm going to do a liner, a stronger liner around my eye and blend it out. We are going to do some false lashes, which is super fun. I'm all for false lashes if you love that. And very little underneath, okay? Because we're really going to, it's a bit glamorous, right? Bit holiday glam. Okay, so the palette I'm going to use today is by Illamasqua. And I'm going to use warm tones here. I've used warm tones in a few videos here, so I am going to do some more like purples and cool tones, but because we're doing red lips, it's important to stick with the warm idea with red because red is a warm color unless you do kind of more towards the fuchsias. But in any case, I'm going to do this on my lid. Oh, and this palette is called, so this palette's called Artistry Palette, which is good. But I loved the purples, and purple and warms go beautifully together. Oh, lovely. Even with red lips, like we might toss a little purple in there just because. So I'm going to do this on my lid, this on top of my lid, and if it's not enough gold, I have another very bright gold, not bright, but like glamorous looking gold I can put on top of it. I'm going to play with it. I don't know if I've used this very much. I'm not sure what the payback is on it. And then I'm going to use this lovely kind of brick color closer to my eye, okay? So we're going to go a little bit more orangey red. And then in the outer corner, I might do a little bit of something like that, but I'm not sure. We're going to go with it as we go because I don't want my eyes to be too terribly strong. So this is all over the lid. So for a liner on top, I'm actually going to use a MAC color here called Coffee. So I've also got a waterproof one to do in the waterline. I can't use regular pencils in my waterline without it bleeding down my face. Some of you can, just depends on your eyes. So I do have a waterproof liner, and this is also a MAC. It's called Photograph, which is a brown. So we're going to stick, again, we're sticking with warm tones because of the red lipstick. All right, I'm going between my lashes here just to get that color really dense, right? Because we're going for a dense shade around your eye. I do pull my eyes a little bit. You just have to be patient, really. Okay, so it's not even, and I don't really care because I'm going to use this slanted brush here. Lots of lines make slanted brushes, you know, but I'm going to run this over the top just to soften this down a little bit and get rid of that little bump right there. Just being very careful not to get too much on the inside of the eye because I want this to be more focused on the outside. Okay, so you can see how much that's brought out that eye shape and really popped it. Now I'm going to do the other eye and then we're going to come back and do lips because that way I can get the balance straight. I want to be sure that I don't have too much or too little. So I'm going to do lips and then go back and finish my eyes. Okay, so now we're going to go on to lips. And I don't know if you can hear it. I just shut a bunch of doors, but the gardener's outside and it's like he's cutting things and it's very loud. So forgive me if that's coming through the mic. Okay, so let's do lips. So in order to make your lipstick stay on, it's best to do a little foundation and powder on your lips. So I already I'm going to put a little bit more on my lips. A little bit of powder. If you can't keep lipstick on, that's a huge trick. If you have more questions about that, I'll put a a video in the corner. Okay, so let's talk about lipstick and lip liner. So this is the one I'm going to use. This is called, I don't know what it's called. I haven't got my glasses on. Oy vey. Okay, this is Berry Red. So it's a very blue red, which I love. I think this is it's a gorgeous, gorgeous lip gloss. It's by Jane Iredale. Love it. It has a little hyaluronic acid, so it plumps up your lips a bit. It's lovely. And I've got 3 different lip liners here. So it depends on your skin color. I think this red can be used on fairly dark skin. I've got a pretty good tan right now because it's gorgeous here and I'm outside all the time. So I think the more pale you are, probably this would be too much, but you can play with glosses when it comes to the lip liner. In other words, so for here I have a brick liner, which is, and I'm going to do a little demo here. So this has got a lot more brown in it. See that? So if I use this lip liner with the Berry Red, it's going to have a completely different look than if I do this one, which is Cherry. So you see the difference? Cherry has a lot more pink to it. Okay, so you got more brick, more pink, and then you have, I'm going to use, this is a neutral, this is called Boldly Bare. So this doesn't have any red in it at all. In fact, it's got a little bit of rose, but it will tone down any red. So I would say you could use any of these. Just depends on you. If you want your lip gloss to be a little bit more purple, use more of a grapey lip liner. Really, you can do whatever you want because lip gloss will automatically blend beautifully with a lip liner. So I would say use what kind of hits your fancy. I'm going to use the brick because I don't want it to be like glaringly bright. I want to have I tend to be more subtle in my approach to makeup. So I'm going to use a brick lip liner and then my lip gloss, okay? Okay, as you can see, I filled in the outer edges a little bit, and what that does is it makes your lips look a little bit more pouty, slowly. Okay, let's put the Berry Red gloss on top. Okay, so this is a lovely red. I feel like it's got color, but it's sheer, so it's not super strong. If I want to beef it up a little bit, I did grab a nice red. This is very, very red. This is by Jane Iredale. This is called Gwen. So this is like mega red. I love this red. It can be a little harsh on older skin for sure, so not for everybody. I think the darker your skin, the more you can really pull off those reds. They're just so stunning. But see, that's kind of pretty. I think it's pretty. I don't think it's too much. And especially I'm wearing black, so, and I've got my hair really dark, so the contrast is actually kind of nice. If you don't have as much contrast, I would say wear a little bit more contrast in your clothes and that might help. All right, I'm gonna do my cheeks and then I'm gonna finish my eyes because, very important, again, we're looking at balance, right? So I wanna be sure I don't overdo my eyes. So I'm gonna use this really nice warm color here by MAC. I believe it's called Melba. I used it in my last video too, so. Okay, so you can see this is really coming together. Like it's starting to look nice and normal, right? It's starting to look really pretty. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the brick red, the dark brick that I pointed out here, and I'm gonna use that on top of my eyeshadow liner just to soften it down a little bit more. And I'm gonna use this brush, kind of a nice poofy brush. And I'm gonna really stick to the outer edge here, but I just want this. Wow, that's really loud out there. I'm sorry about that. He's such a nice man. I can't go ask him to stop, seriously. All right. Okay, so now I've raised that line up a little bit and softened it down. I'm going to use a crease brush. I use this brush all the time. It's a 217 from MAC. And I'm just going to pull that shade up a little bit just to give me a little bit of softness in that outer edge. All right, I'm going to use a teeny tiny bit of this gold because we are doing the gold and bronzes. This is kind of a bronzy color, and I'm just going to put it on the outer edge. Okay, it's taking shape nicely. I'm actually gonna do the false lashes now, come back, and really we're gonna finish it off. Okay, so now I'm gonna polish it off. I'm gonna use a little bit of the Photo Grab, which is the waterproof brown that I talked about earlier, just in my waterline underneath. And this just gives a little more lift to the upper part of your eye. So I've got the liner, I've got my lashes, but you know, it's fairly soft. I don't think, you know, even though it looked like I was putting a fair bit on, just kind of makes my eyes pop up, right? Which is what we want. Want everything to go north. Everything, boobs, booty, north, north. Okay, now I'm gonna do a little bit of gold just on my lid. So I'm gonna start with this gold, like I pointed out earlier. And if it's not enough gold, I've got another one. I'm just gonna use my finger, tap it right in the center. It's not bad. I am going to put a little bit more gold. So this is actually a very expensive brand. No, not that one. So this is some Chanel because everybody needs at least one Chanel in their entire their repertoire. This is called Comme Toi. It has been shattered. So please forgive the shattering, but I am going to use my finger on this just to get it, or maybe I'll use a brush just to really get that on. It's a lovely gold. I love this gold so much. Remember the purples? I'm just really wanting to put a little bit of purple. I don't know why. I've just got this purple thing. I think it's going to be so pretty with all the warm tones. So we've got these lovely purples in here, and I think I'm going to grab this one and put it just on the outer edge of my, underneath my eye. Okay, it's time for concealer. So, you know, I've got some fall here underneath my eye. I'm actually going to go ahead and clean that off because it would be a mess if I put concealer on top of it. So I just take a little bit of Q-tip and some eye makeup remover and just clean that up. Okay, I'm going to use a little bit of MAC here. This is not my usual concealer that I use. This is in my Pro Kit, but I do love this palette. I think you can buy all of these individually. I'm going to use this color right here. I will put it down below so you can buy it individually. This is a really good color for my skin tone, but this kind of covers a bunch of skin tones. You know, I make up all colors and love all colors, so it's great. So I'm just going to use my finger and I'm just going to tap it around. I'm going to use my concealer as a highlight too, just up here in the corner, just to brighten this area a little bit. All right, a little powder again, so the MAC blot powder. I'm just going to use a small brush. One of my friends is so shocked that I just use a small brush, but this is the way you keep it just so it's where you need it, especially if you have dry skin, but you get a little shiny around your eye area like I do. I don't have dry skin, but around my eyes tends to be very shiny. Okay, I've got some circles. I actually woke up a few times in the middle of the night. It was sort of a rough night or last night, so I'm going to do a little highlighter. This is MAC. It's very loved. This is a highlighter pen, which is just very warm toned. So I'm going to use this just to kind of make that not be quite so noticeable. And because I'm tweaking, I'm going to tweak my eyebrows. I'm going to add a little bit of this Merit gel just to get these to go a little bit more up. Not drastically, just enough, just to make my eyes get a little bit bigger. Because we're going for this glamorous look, right? With lots of eye. That's pretty. And if you'd like to add some bronzer, many of you are big bronzer fans. I'm using the Vapor bronzer here, which is loved. And I'm just going to warm up my cheek area a little bit more. Because of the red, you can get away with quite a bit of bronzer. Okay, so this is the red lipstick holiday look. So I did a smoky eye with a neutral lip for my other holiday look. So this is a lot more bright, a lot more colorful. I hope you like it. Please write down below. I always love hearing from you. Let me know what you think of this look and if you have any questions at all. And please be sure to visit me at thebeautyShamanStore.com. All right, have a happy holiday.